Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. You're watching Vision of Asia, a voice of the community on ITV Gold. This Sunday marks a special weekend for all of us as gradually we move towards the other side of life with gradual, cautious opening back, moving towards a new normal with additional measures. We will have more on that down the line, but today we begin with highlights of this edition of Vision of Asia. Singer Shibani Kashyap, with her singing, also talks to us about COVID 19 relief efforts from New Delhi. She talked to Aditi Lamba. We will have Amit Guha and Balri Sen Gupta sharing all about their efforts to serve health workers. Dr. Dina Edimullen talks to us about latest coronavirus related medical issues and prospects of a viable vaccine. Oak Tree Business Association has also been active in free food distribution. We will have a story on that. And today's Vision of Asia, we also have a weekly segment with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parekh, where he talks about how we are moving in the right direction. All this coming up right after these messages. Stay with us. You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of Community. In today's show, we begin with singer Shibani Kashyap. She's a wonderful singer, and in addition to being an entertainer, she is also taking care of her social responsibility very well. She talked to our own Aditi Lamba about COVID 19 relief efforts and music from New Delhi. Take a look.
Shibani Kashyap, thank you so much for being with us here on ITV Gold. It's great to have you. Such positive vibes. I hope you're doing well in New Delhi.
Hey Aditi, thank you so much for inviting me on your show on ITV Gold. And it just seems like yesterday when we met in November for the Ekal Vidyalaya show, right? In
Yes,
Manhattan.
definitely.
And little did we know that we'd all, that for me, New York seems to be like a far cry now because
Yes,
traveling is like a far cry.
yes.
Airports are shut. And yes, we're in COVID times, so yes, coping with it, trying to do
And
trying to do a lot.
it's so great having you here on, for ACL and for the India Day Parade as well. You've been so associated with the New York Indian community and you're doing so much work with it. I just wanted to know how everything has been, with COVID relief efforts that you're working with. You're doing a magnitude of work in terms of raising funds, raising awareness. Talk to us a little bit about how, that experience has been for you personally.
So during this lockdown time, and when all this just started, honestly, I had just finished a very big performance here in Delhi, and I was all set to leave back for Mumbai, and I was like, okay, I didn't really think it would become so, the situation would become so grave here in India, but in a matter of 3 days, things just started changing, and all these lockdowns started getting announced. And I think I would really give a big up to our government for that, because there was, if it wouldn't have been locked down like this, uh, the cases would have just surged up like God knows what. So anyhow, living at home is there are lots of positives to it also. Being home, bonding with the family, with my husband and I have been traveling separately for a very very long time, and this is a lovely time that we've gotten together. Also, I think you know seeing mother nature bloom, because here in India it's so polluted, and now there seems to be no pollution at all. The roads are clean, the sky is clean, the birds are tweeting in our gardens, and actually I saw a peacock in my mom's garden just the other day. So it's all these pretty things are happening. Yes, I really, my salutes go out, heartfelt salute and thanks to the frontline workers who are
Yeah.
really risking their lives at this point in time so that we can actually sit at home safe, healthy, and alive. So I've been doing a lot of concerts online, and I used to be a very tech phobic person, tech phobic and very online shy person. I was more on, I used to enjoy doing just ground events and meeting up people. I'm a really people's person.
Yeah.
So now I'm just talking to a camera every day. But I guess that's the way it's going to be, and I'm adhering to it, and I'm talking to different platforms every day. There are webinars, there are digital concerts, uh, there are fundraising concerts. There is a lot which is happening, and also entertainment concerts. I mean, people are sitting home getting bored, getting depressed. So that's another thing. I mean, it's good to actually be a Corona warrior in our own right by actually singing for them and entertaining them. So, and also I've come up with a few songs during this lockdown time. So it's been quite interesting actually.
Talk to me about this strength, all the artists are showing through music in raising funds. Especially with your experience, you worked with particular fundraisers that are raising money directly for COVID relief. You also did a song, Corona Ko Hai Harana. Well, and it's a beautiful song. It was just all positive spirits. How does that process work? For artists such as you, and if there's a nonprofit aspect to it, and then there's a music aspect to it.
So we're in tough times, and I think we all need to be together, by staying apart, and together as a unified fraternity to do things for each other. So recently, there's a band called Astitwa. So they created a song called Hum Saath Hain, and they featured a lot of artists, including me, Akhil Sachdeva, Palash Sen, Nitin Malik of Parikrama Band. These are very well-known musicians of India. So we all got together to do this song, and we sent our vocals on just our gadgets, on our phones. And because we don't have access to studios, and the music producer got all our vocals, made the music, mixed, mastered, created the track, after which they wanted a video also, obviously. So we just shot the video in our own respective homes, gardens, terraces, whatever space that we could find, to actually make it look as pretty as possible. And the one person who's actually stuck by me to help me out in all of this, who I couldn't have done without, is my husband. He is a techie savvy guy, and he's been framing all my frames and shooting me. So I mean, obviously I can't shoot myself, right? So so he's been doing all the camera work and everything. And he also conceptualized the video, the Corona Ko Hai Harana video. He's the one who actually made the video, and our editor Abhishek Sharma did the whole editing with creating 4 Shibanis in one frame and all of those things. So it was quite interesting. So we're learning as we're going along, actually, about this situation.
It's a great song. I like it. I really like it. And I know it has definitely connected with your audience and your fans as well. Talk to us a little bit about some of the projects that kind of hit home for you, for these COVID relief efforts, the concerts you've done. What are some of the charities that you're currently working with that we should know about?
So there is something called Feed My City. So what they do is you can just donate anything. And so they created a concert with lots of artists. And during that concert, of course, that there is you can actually subscribe to that channel, and you can actually donate on the spot while watching the concert. And those proceeds go towards all the, the daily wage earners, the people who've been worst hit by the lockdown. The laborers, the migrant workers, the daily wage earners, so who really don't know where to go. They're just moving around they're going astray, and they have no money, they have no food. The poor, the homeless, who at this time are even more homeless. So it was very important to first do something for them. And so that's why I jumped in and I did this concert. And so this was one of the fundraisers. Then there is an NGO called Anything Will Do. So it just literally means, anything will do means, like, even if you give 20 rupees, 200 rupees, whatever, just so that they can feed people every day. So whatever we have been doing, whatever money which has been coming, it's not just about the money, it's about donating. You can just go feed them also, feed the people. So I also did created a concert on the Facebook page of Anything Will Do, where I performed, and I reiterated that please donate generously. Anything. It doesn't have to be just money. It could be food. You could just give them maybe sanitizers. You can give them something that can help their life, because they can't afford it.
Even masks.
maybe medicines, yeah, even masks, anything. So a lot of people have been taking a lot of initiative by distributing food and masks and sanitizers, and doing free testing for these people. So there are things happening, but of course we're still up to the huge challenge. We don't really know what this is and how it's going to go, and only once the vaccine comes in. And so we have to live in the COVID times, and we have to start being very, very careful, take our precautions. But I think this situation has made everybody very humane. That's all I can say. People have become very humane. On the 31st of May, there is a concert called One India Concert, which I'm going to be a part of. Now, this concert is for the event industry per se. So the people who've really, really taken a huge hit in our industry are the event organizers.
Right.
So that's how they were earning money, by doing events. And there are no events happening, and I don't see events happening for a long time, for at least a year, because people are scared. No large gatherings or public gatherings are going to happen. So these people are also very badly hit, because they have no income anymore. So we are going to do this concert to raise funds for the event industry people.
Right.
And also there's another concert which is going to be jointly for, of course, the corona victims, and also the recent cyclone and the floods which came in, Calcutta, as in Bengal, West Bengal. So it's called Goonj. The whole concert is called Goonj. I'm going to be a part of that also. That is happening on the 30th of May. So there is a lot which is happening, and I'm glad people are taking initiatives, and I'm glad I'm a part of all these things. I can do something.
Being compassionate and putting that compassion into action with creative and innovative approach deserves to be appreciated. And on that front, today as we meet, we also appreciate Amit Guha and Bellery Sen Gupta for their proactive approach in reaching out, encouraging as well as serving food for health workers. Take a look. Let me begin with you, Amitji. You are a restaurant owner, and due to COVID 19, things are not good professionally for you. When you realized what is happening with the lockdown and everything, what went on in your mind?
Actually, in the middle of March, the Governor Kumo had given a notice of lockdown for New York State. And as a business owner, we're all scared because these are livelihood. And most importantly, the employees who work at the restaurant, they felt shattered because they didn't know where to go. And on 27th, to be specific, I believe that was Thursday, Thursday or Friday, 27th of March. They were in tears. They said that, Mr. Guha, are we going to close down? So I was in the parking lot in my car, and I was just thinking. I said that, no, we are going to stay open. Just to keep the spirit high, I said that this is my plan, and I'll get back to you. Give me 2 days, I'll get back to you. The plan is to serve the frontliners. Prior to that, I have been seeing the news, reading the papers on internet, that how hard and tirelessly the frontliners are working to save the lives, who are coming in hundreds, and they were all perplexed. So that evening, I called Valerie. She was in a meeting, and it was very nice of her. She has been an extremely hard worker. It was very nice of her to, get the time out of the meeting, and we discussed that what happens if we use our resources and go ahead and help out the frontliners, because everyone is talking about the patients, but when all the doors of the worship, the church is closed, the temple is closed, Gurdwara is closed, mosque is closed, when people are in shambles, they take refuge. And at this point, they're like godsend. All the frontliners, they are saving lives. They are taking all the burden on their shoulders to help out people. They didn't have the mask, like adequate mask, adequate ventilators, and they were also working with very small resources. And we thought everyone has, as a community member, each of us has a role to play. So our role is to support the frontliners to keep the spirit high. So Valerie and I, we had a detailed discussion,
Okay, so
and
let me interrupt you and seek input from Valerie in terms of when you heard the idea of Amit to help frontline health workers. Number one, let me learn, or rather, have our viewers understand the background which connects you to the health industry, and you are into product development, health products. What is exactly your role, and how familiar you are with frontline workers? When we use the term frontline workers, who are we talking about? Yeah.
So basically, when we're thinking of frontline workers, it's the hospitals, anyone from nurses and doctors. Even right now, there we have a team at Long Island Jewish Medical Center where they're the environmental services staff. So they're there responsible for making sure that the hospital is completely clean and safe for the doctors and the patients at the end of the day. So them, we include the police, fire departments. So when we're saying frontline workers, these are the ones we're serving at this point. And in terms of the second part of your question of how am I associated to healthcare and what my background is, I was a genetics major, ended up doing computer science, and then kind of shifted into the health tech space. And I'm leading a product team in a health tech startup. And so I had worked in hospitals before, so I understand from what it's like in an OR to an ER and how hectic it can be. And something when you have a pandemic come in and there's constantly patients coming in and dying in front of your eyes every day, it's traumatizing not only just to see, but it's emotional, it's physical. And a lot of these people too, like I have friends who are doctors who have newborns that they can't even see. They can't go home and hold their baby because they might spread something to the rest of their family. So they have to stay separated from them. And so when Amit Ji told me about his idea, it was great, and I definitely wanted to help because, I mean, I'm living by myself in Manhattan. I'm safe. I'm not going out, but there's these people who are going out every day, risking their lives, risking their families' lives for us and our safekeeping. And so it was definitely a great opportunity to give back to the community.
Valerie, what do you think this experience of having worked in collaboration with Amit to serve frontline health workers has taught you? What did you learn? Because typical marketing or coordination is different, and working on these kind of help-oriented assignment, call it, or self uh, on your own motivation, being a part of something like this gives you a different feel and experience. So, how would you compare?
I think definitely we all go to work and we're all interacting with people on a regular basis. And, after a month of staying home, it was kind of getting to me thinking, all these people are going out and doing things that are, helping other people. I mean, I'm sort of helping too, but I'm at home and there's got to be something more that I can do, right? And I think one of the things that I definitely learned is because of what I do, like product managers and pretty much problem solving. And so it was a creative way of problem solving from home, right? So, I mean, I've never had to leave because Amit is doing the deliveries himself and he refuses to let me go. And so that was where I had to sit there and think, well, what's my skill set that I have that I can help and still be a part of this project, even being home and being safe, right? And so it was a matter of what we can bring to the table. So there's a old story about the stone soup, where a gentleman came in with the stone and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna have some stone soup. Who wants some? Oh, it smells so good, this and that." And then everyone else from the village started pitching in, and the villagers were eating the same thing. Either they were just eating cabbage every day or they were just eating carrots every day. And so once everyone came together and put their specialty into that soup, it just made for a much better soup, right? And so that's what we have to think of today, where we don't really live in villages, we don't really have our own, farms, but we do have skill sets, right? We have people who know how to cook, we have people who know how to drive and who are leaders, we have people who can coordinate or make calls, we have, the frontline workers who are doing their jobs, right? And so at this point in time, and we should do this on a regular basis, it shouldn't just be when there is a pandemic, is everyone should just step up and just be a part of the community. And that's what's going to make us come back stronger after this all ends.
You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of Community. This program comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on ITV Gold at 8 p.m. And our special weekly edition is shown every Sunday at 11 a.m. We appreciate your encouraging response and request you to stay with us. We'll be right back after these short messages. The prime question that most of us have on our mind is, what about vaccine? When are we going to see the vaccine that gives us strength to fight coronavirus head on? And in that direction, Dr. Dina Adi Mullen shares some insight on latest coronavirus related medical issues as well as prospects of a viable vaccine. Take a look.
Just starting off this interview, let's take a look at a really remarkable or a big number, as they're saying today, which is how the United States is nearing 100,000 deaths as we're speaking right now. And we have about 1.6 million cases just in this country. So starting off this interview, how should we be processing these numbers? And 100,000 deaths, it's a huge number. What do you have to say about that?
So as we know, the number of cases are increasing as we start to test more and more individuals, as testing becomes more and more available. We're just going to see the number of cases rising with the number of people being tested. And with that will probably come an increased number of deaths as well. As more people are being diagnosed with the virus, there are people, unfortunately, that will also die from the virus. So it's really important to continue doing all the things that we're doing to try to prevent our exposure and infection of COVID-19.
This curve that everyone keeps on referring to, doctor, how they're saying that it's flattening. Is it truly flattening according to you? Are you seeing a decline in number of deaths or a number of hospitalizations wherever you're working?
So I'm located in New York, and I have been involved, in COVID-19 from the very beginning in New York and even up until now. And I can definitely tell you that the number of cases within the hospital itself is definitely coming down. That means that the number of deaths that we're seeing in the hospital also has been coming down. So as you know, flattening the curve is basically a public health measure that we're taking to decrease the spread of the infection. Initially in New York, we were really concerned that the hospital wouldn't have the capacity to meet the demands of the number of people who would have infection. So when we say flattening the curve, we're really trying to decrease the spread of the infection and decrease the amount of sort of burden on the hospital system so our hospitals can keep up with the sick people and take care of them.
This entire journey is basically something that the entire medical community had never imagined that they'd have to go through. And it's something that's very personal to all of you because you're really, truly the frontline heroes. How has this entire experience, changed healthcare or just looking at patient care for you? And also, how has it changed your personal life and how you have to interact with your own family members and your own kids?
So this pandemic has absolutely changed all of our lives. It's changed our lives in the hospital. It's changed our lives, doing everything that we would do day to day. I think this is all just a new normal. It's a way that we're going to have to live until we have a better option in place, like a vaccination that can really protect us. And so, for me, I actually have a 2-year-old at home. And, it's really hard. It was really hard for me to even think about going into the hospital, seeing patients, or, being present in a place where COVID is very obvious, like a hospital setting, and coming home to my child. So I'm just really trying the best that I can to keep safe. So what I do is I have my own routine for when I'm coming home. I make sure that I'm sanitizing all my doorknobs. I sanitize my cell phone. I take a bath as soon as I come home because I've been around hospital patients, and I make sure that I wash all of my clothes right away. I do all of the things that I can to try to keep my family safe in the best way possible. That's the only way that I can live right now, moving forward. I have a lot of colleagues that actually sent their family away. They're living away from their family. We didn't have the luxury of doing that because we have elderly parents. And so we didn't want to put our family at risk too for potential, COVID infection. So we decided that we're just going to do this in isolation from our families. And that's another, concept that's been very hard, is staying away from our parents. My child is the first grandson. Everyone wants to spend time with him. Everyone wants to hug him and kiss him and hold him. And unfortunately, they can't right now. And it's probably the hardest thing for them because they find so much support in they find so much support and stress reduction in just spending time with family, spending time with their grandson, and they can't. So we're trying to do everything to limit our exposure to our family. We don't get to see them as often as we would like, and if we do, it's very limited interaction, wearing a mask. We're 12 feet away from them at times. We have to keep further distance because our son will run to them otherwise. So it's really a different way of living and being right now. And it's a new normal. It's a new normal until this passes. And I think I won't feel comfortable until I know I have some degree of protection against this virus.
Definitely. I have 2 questions left for you here. My first one would be, what is your focus for the next couple of weeks, and in terms of patient caring? And also, is there any development you have for our viewers in terms of treatments or drug trials or even vaccine?
So over the next few weeks, our hospital is slowly going back to a new normal. So we are seeing patients in our hospital. I'm seeing patients in my clinic. We're making sure that in the hospital, in the clinics, we're doing everything we can to be precautionary. So we have social distancing measures in place. People are getting their temperatures checked. Everybody has to wear a face mask or a facial covering. So we're doing the best to protect our patients. So that's really important for you to know and for your viewers to know, because your hospital and your doctors are ready for you. We're here, we want to see you, and we're doing everything we can to keep our hospital and our offices safe. In terms of, what we need to do, moving forward, I think we just really need to practice this new normal. We need to make sure that we're doing everything to socially distance, making sure that there's adequate space between us and somebody else, more than 6 feet. We need to make sure we're wearing facial coverings. We need to hand wash. We need to do everything that we can to keep our house safe. That means sanitizing doorknobs, sanitizing your cell phone, your steering wheel. Anything that could have potentially been touched by other people needs to be sanitized. And so it takes a lot of time. It can take me over 30, 40 minutes to just go through my groceries and sanitize things. Wow. But it's the new normal, and it's what's absolutely necessary. I also think it's important, because there's a lot of false information out there, to remember that right now there is no treatment for COVID-19. We don't have a treatment for COVID-19 yet. There's a lot of clinical trials out there looking to see whether or not there's a medication that might work to help us. But right now we don't have a treatment. The only treatment that we have right now is, we don't have one, but what we can do, to prevent getting exposed or prevent getting the infection is the social distancing measures that I just mentioned. So please, rather than trying all of these things that you hear about on the internet or from other people, it's important to stick with what's tried and true, and that is the social distancing measures. If a vaccine comes out, it may come out in a couple of months. It's not there now. We need to do this in order to keep ourselves safe until that option is present to us.
I appreciate your comment on social distancing. I think it's so important for all the viewers to especially realize that, we have healthcare professionals here on ITV Gold telling everyone to just take precautions themselves, because we can protect ourselves, and it's really important. My one last question to you has to be, I would love for you to give a message out to your, co-frontliners, all of the people that are really sacrificing every time of their day to really truly help everyone in need. We'd love for you to give a message out to them.
So I think, it's something that I've said many times. I think that the one thing we've noticed is that we're all stronger together, which means that we're all here for each other. Even if somebody lives in a different state or a different country, a lot of the frontline workers, a lot of the hospital workers have been in touch with one another through things like Facebook or Instagram to help support one another to get through this. And so we all are here together. We're stronger together, and we'll get through this together. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think that this is something that's going to last for years. I think that there's a possibility once we have a vaccine to start getting back to a closer new normal where we can engage in normal daily activities like we used to. But until then, we need to be strong and we need to support one another. I think that's the most important thing.
Oak Tree Business Association has been active in working with the community, and now, due to COVID-19, the situation has brought people into action in several appreciable ways. Oak Tree Business Association was also engaged in free food distribution. Here is a story.
My name is Bimal Joshi. I have a business on Oak Tree Road. This particular event is organized to help out the skilled worker and the worker of the Oak Tree Road businesses to keep them here in the market because they are skilled and they have done a lot for our businesses. So we want to keep them here by providing them the groceries at least for the month. We are giving them like 22 pounds of wheat flour, oil, rice, cereal, milk, lentil, tur dal, moong dal, and couple of other stuff, so that they can at least survive and have the food till during this pandemic time, and people can stay home. Even we are distributing the mask and the sanitizer, so that way they can be safe, and we hope that they stay safe till this thing over.
Coming on your way. I just want to say thank you for the Business Association for setting this up today. I think it was a terrific event, terrific food pantry event, and it helps everyone on Oak Tree Road right now, especially the people that are working on Oak Tree Road. It's a nice community event. I'm glad that people from all over our community have gathered around this function to help in this time of need. So thank you everyone for hosting this. And this is Apna Bazaar, and Apna Bazaar has been a terrific asset and a terrific community leader in this community right now. For several weeks straight, almost 3 months straight, they've been delivering food, giving free food items to those in need.
I feel this is the time Oak Tree has come together. We have been together in a lot of fun events. We've been together in a lot of parties and socialize. This is the time when our town needs us and we are needed by our people. So it gives me immense pride to say that all the business groups together of Oak Tree have come together to help and make sure that no person goes hungry. No one has a need, and we are providing to everybody. I must say salute to Khadak Singh ji. From 3 months, he has been giving food to everybody. Just come and pick up your food and go. That takes a big heart. पैसे सबके पास हैं, business सबके पास है, but this is the time to give, give, give.
मैं हर परिवार को यहाँ पे ओक ट्री रोड पे पिछले 2 महीने की स्ट्रगल से, जिनके पास जॉब नहीं है, जिनके पास खाने की तकलीफ है, या जो बेचारे किसी भी सहायता के लिए एलिजिबल नहीं है, उनको हम किसी भी तरह का मोहताज नहीं होने दें. हम अपनी ओक ट्री बिजनेस एसोसिएशन की तरफ से, जैसे बिमल दुआ जी, रवि महारानी फैशन से, मैं राज ज्वेल से, और मेरे ऐसे अपने हल्दीराम, बीकानेर वाले, ऑनेस्ट, ऐसे बहुत सारे परिवार, हमारा मिठास वाले कमल भाई जो आज उपस्थित नहीं हो सके, लेकिन उनका योगदान हमारे साथ हम कभी भूल नहीं सकते. सीमा जी हैं, रेडियो ज़िंदगी से सुनील हाली साहब हैं, उन सब ने सिर्फ एक अच्छा काम करने के लिए कोई डोनेट नहीं किया, बल्कि अपना समय भी योगदान दिया कि वो कोशिश करें कि उन परिवारों को कुछ ना कुछ पहुंच सके. तो मेरी आप सब से हाथ जोड़कर विनम्रता से रिक्वेस्ट है, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करते हुए हमने जिस तरह से यहाँ पे अपने साथ कोई ना कोई किसी परिवार के साथ जुड़ने की कोशिश की है, आप भी अपने लेवल पे किसी भी परिवार को जो सहायता की ज़रूरत हो, अपने तरीके से। ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपने उनको राशन दे के ही सहायता देनी है, शायद एक फ़ोन कॉल से करके उनका सिर्फ मनोबल ऊंचा कर सके तो वो कीजिए। और हम चाहते हैं कि इंडियंस ऑन ओक्ट्री, लिटिल इंडिया ओक्ट्री रोड ओक्ट्री बिजनेस एसोसिएशन जो एक बनी है, आपके साथ हर परिवार के साथ जुड़ सके, तब ताकि जब आने वाली दिवाली हो या ईद, जैसे जो आज सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, आने वाली दिवाली इस कोविड फ्री बिना किसी डर के हम यहाँ पे सेलिब्रेट कर सकें।
ये लिमिटेड स्टॉक है, सो आप दूसरों का भी ख्याल करें और प्लीज़ 6 फीट का डिस्टेंस मेंटेन रखें, जिससे ये हम जमा हुए हैं उसके लिए हमें ये कोविड का जो है वो हम ख्याल रख सकें। सेकंड बार जो फैमिली 2 बार ले रही हो, प्लीज मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है बाकियों का ख्याल रखें ताकि सबको थोड़ा थोड़ा मिल सके। प्लीज एक बार अगर आप ले चुके हो तो दूसरों की चिंता करें।
Has President Donald J. Trump been proactive in taking care of the economic engine of America with stimulus package? Dr. Sudhir Parikh has an affirmative answer to this question. Yes, we are moving in the right direction. Let us hear Dr. Sudhir Parikh in this week's special edition. It is an honor and a pleasure to be welcoming Dr. Sudhir Parikh in this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you. Namaskar.
On the one hand, there are some positive developments that we are finding around us, and there are many developments which are going to cause greater concern. Let us talk about the positive side first, starting from America. Looks like things are moving in the right direction. How do you see about the process of opening up?
Yes, I think process of opening up is really looks good. Because as you can see that stock market is zooming, going up every day, and that shows there's confidence of the market. Market is always the best predictor of what's going to happen next 6 months. So since market is going up and is almost only 7% down from the pre-March value, so it means it came recovered almost 25% of the drop or loss of the market during COVID time. So that shows that market is looking for opening up the economy, and this is not really economical problem. This was a health problem or it was a medical problem. That's why as soon as economy opens up, market presume that most of the corporations will do good. And also in general public also, people are, you can see every day since last Sunday or Saturday, the people's psychologies, they are changing and they are feeling a little more secure, and they can understand the disease better, and they are taking the precautions better.
And in that context, I also recollect that now they have given permission that in your backyard you can have up to 10 people. So small gatherings also are permissible now in New York.
Not only 10, I mean, in New York it's 10 people, but in New Jersey 25 people.
I see.
So yeah, so you can have a small party actually, as long as you have big enough backyard to have a social distance. So I think that gives people a lot of confidence, and you can see the beaches are full of people. Even though, I mean, some people are not obeying the social distance, but most of them are obeying the social distance, and that's a human nature. You cannot teach. You can tell people what to do, but whether person does it or not is up to their behavior. You cannot dictate too much. They learn themselves by bad experience or not bad experience.
Absolutely. Now, this is another area of potential problem which we have already started observing at certain stores. Now, the attendant is responsible to educate people that they should have mask, they should maintain social distancing. Somewhere people have not been receptive, and that has resulted into some violent expressions.
Yeah, but again, that's what exactly I'm saying. That you can suggest, but you cannot dictate. And if you try to enforce, then it doesn't work. So our hope is that everyone knows what to do. There are only three things to be done: wear the mask when you're in public, keep the distance, and keep washing your personal hygiene. As long as you do these three things, probably chances of getting viral infection or catching the viral infection is very, very small. But again, it's everybody's responsibility. So you cannot legislate that responsibility. You have to just, you can say that and let people do. I mean, there are people who scuba dive or dive from the sky. They know that they are taking a risk. So these people, those who are not obeying, they're taking the risk a little bit. And that's why you will see that there is a 5 to 10% increase in the incidence of the new infection. But that's normal. Whenever you lockdown goes away, everybody starts coming together. This is bound to happen. That's a normal epidemiological projection.
Absolutely. Now, staying in America, talking about President Trump and tweets, now today, developing discussion relates to President Trump declaring that because a Twitter company removed one of his tweet based on some fact check, etc. So he has threatened that he is going to shut down the social media.
No, I don't think Twitter removed it. Twitter, I mean, somebody, Democrats wants to remove that tweet, but then Twitter said, no, we cannot remove the tweet. We can only put the kind of alert there for fact check. It means any other new tweet comes from him, they will do fact check and they will display that fact check. And so people can get correct information about whatever it is,
Yeah, I think you are right. That is the case, and they mildly reprimanded him or sort of brought this to his attention, and that he didn't take lightly.
Well, I mean, that's I think unfortunate style of president, right? So nothing you can do about it, and that's how he bullies. I mean, that's he bullies people, and he goes through the bullying the people, and people. So that's nothing new. I mean, but they cannot stop Twitter, or they cannot control the Twitter because it's a publicly traded company.
Absolutely. Now, how things are shaping up in America with respect to economy? You mentioned about the positive response of market to the overall stimulus package, $3 trillion, and probably there is going to be one more. How, in the long run, these kind of packages, which are not directly connected to economic engine of the nation, are likely to put? Will it cause some substantial dent in economic growth of America? How do you perceive the potential impact of this package?
No, this package has positive impact, not negative impact on the economy. I think your description, I do not agree, because by giving these packages, what he did is he secured most of the small businesses, employment or employees, or kind of their guarantee their job. If he would have not done this thing, a lot of people would have been laid off. And of course, they could have collected the money, but that money is only short time. They're going to stop that welfare scheme in probably in 1 month. So that's not the answer. And then they cannot, at a certain age group, cannot get the job. So after 50, if you apply for a job, it's hard to get the job. So I think what he did is an excellent thing, actually. And that does not affect. On the contrary, that kept all our businesses going. And otherwise, what happens is, suppose if some business shut down completely and then try to reopen, it is not easy to reopen. because half of the people, those who are working there, are is gone somewhere, or they have to start all over again. Except couple of industry like restaurant, they have a little problem. But otherwise, what he did really, it kept the economy machine slowly going. And all this deficit or government federal deficit, it's not really big problem, because eventually cycle goes around and economy goes back, just like what happened in 2007. Whole financial system collapsed, and because of their stimulus, it revived, and you saw that after 2-3 years, then it boomed. So I'm not concerned about economy. On the contrary, I think we should, whether you agree with the president or not, you should congratulate him for this kind of stimulus packages.
Not only President, I actually compliment you for clarifying this, because there are different ways in which one would interpret, and the way you explained, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So it is important that things keep in a state of motion rather than getting stagnant, especially in the context of economy. And now on the other side, and staying from the point of view of America, not getting into all the details, but there are border disputes which have reached to a new level of height in India, between India and China. President Trump has offered that he is able and willing to mediate. Overall, how do you see, especially this period is already volatile, uncertain, lot of challenges, and then this aggressive stand of China about this whole scenario and potential role of America?
Well, I mean, China is a bully boy in the Southeastern Asia, and the bully boy never think about what is fair and not fair. So they always take the advantage of unfair situation and or weakness of the country, and that's why they are doing this thing. But luckily, there is no bullet fired there. So I think this is all more of posturing than a serious thing.
So now there is another country, neighboring country, Nepal. They have issued a new map whereby two parts of India are shown as part of Nepalese territory. Do you see this also might have come about at the behest of China, and where India and Nepal go from here?
Well, I mean, you're right. It could be instigated by China. But I think India is a much larger and bigger country, and who always supports or subsidize Nepal all the time. And so I think Indian government, current government, present government has to act very firmly, make sure that that claim has to be deleted, and demark the border kind of permanently, and kind of fix the border. Don't keep it open, kind of wishy-washy border. And that's why this thing happens, you know.
Now, just two quick points before we conclude. And one, while there were problems with Zoom, though right now we are recording on Zoom, but in India, Indian government have clearly given the instructions that people should avoid using Zoom. One, it has its roots in China somewhere. Second, there were many cases of privacy not being maintained, and even in America, many organizations felt that some porn got cropped up between their meetings, etc. So anyway, what point I wanted to bring to your attention, and if you are aware, Indian boys on the encouraging approach of Prime Minister Modi, they have come up with a new parallel answer to Zoom called Namaste. That is going to take a while for this to set all things straight. Still, it has started growing in its popularity. So overall, this approach where you want to have indigenous tech companies taking the lead.
I agree with that, but again, there are a lot of Zoom-like companies. Zoom is not only in the world. I mean, Google has Google Duo and Comcast. I mean, not Comcast. There is another IT company. Which one is that? Has a website, and there are a lot of other websites. And you are right that there is a suspicion, or there is a kind of some information that Zoom is not keeping the privacy of the people, and people should not use it. I mean, people are using it because it's a free. That's why they are using it. So, a fault lies with us. If you think that it is not good, or it is some suspicious activities there, then we should not use it. And you can see that yesterday Zoom stock down, dropped 10%, because I think there are two reasons. One is, as you say, that people are suspecting Zoom as a kind of not very fair player, and number two, stay home thing is in the world is kind of getting over slowly.
Absolutely.
So the need for Zoom is going to decline. Even stock of Netflix fell 20% or 15% today, because watching movies at home, that will be decline.
People got tired.
Yeah, so everything has cycle. So we should not interpret otherwise, but there is a cycle, and it goes on in the life.
Wonderful. So now the cycle brings us to the point where we would be saying thanks to our viewers. Your concluding remarks from today's show.
Well, dear friends, I urge everyone that please, part of the slowly reopening of the economy, but be aware. And again, I'm repeating myself: wear the mask when you are in public, keep the good physical hygiene, and keep the physical distance from the other people. And if you do that, then you will win the coronavirus. Virus cannot win you. And that's my message to the all friends. So God bless America, God bless India, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia Voice of Community. Before I say goodbye, let me remind you, if you are not yet friends, or if you have not yet liked ITV Gold's Facebook page, today is the day. Do subscribe to ITV Gold's YouTube channel, and also keep writing to us at events@itvgold.com. Stay safe, stay well. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.